everybody. Welcome back tonight to another night at the PigSty. Tonight we have been joined by Pixie. If anyone has seen Pixie in and around lately, I've noticed there's been popping up, so you know myself. Best thing to do is to get in and have them on, have a chat, and talk to them. I'm going, right, okay. Apologies for my camera. I have broken my main camera, so we're going old school tonight. We're going this way, all right? We're going to be floaty head tonight because that's the other way is not working. So, Pixie, we'll just jump straight into it. And would you like to introduce yourself? Would you like to tell us a little bit about where you're from or who you are? Or give us some information. Tease us along.
I just go by Pixie. I unfortunately currently reside in Texas, but that's temporary. And I don't know, I just like to explore and argue and have fun. So that's how I ended up around here, I guess.
Well, that's what one of the questions we usually ask is, how did you find all of us? How did you turn up with the group? Is there a channel that jumped out at you, that dragged you in, or did you just a rabbit hole it?
I've actually watched some of the channels for quite a while. I'm just stuck in the background because. But I think I probably started with logic and theoretical bullshit.
Theoretical bullshit, I don't know. What sort of channel is that?
He's an atheist that argues with Christians and stuff.
Like the rest of us
but
on
mostly
here.
on like philosophy terms.
Do you like philosophy?
I do. I don't speak it like I don't use the jargon and stuff like a lot of other people do, but I have fun with the concepts. Like I know people get like aggravated at Danny, but listening to Danny reminds me of Hume at some points.
Danny is a special case. I did see you the other night. Was I can't remember who it was. Wild Hearts channel. And you and Richard, I found that you very much held your own quite well against Richard. It seems to me that this isn't your first rodeo, so to speak. You seem quite well versed in how to approach it, how to have these arguments and go forward. Do you have a background of debating? Do you have a background of these discussions?
Yeah, I had debate scholarships, so.
Okay, you're cheating. Okay, that's cheating.
No, I think it also helps that I don't really have a position I'm trying to defend, and I don't really have a narrative I'm trying to push, right? So I'll go in and I'll learn what you think, and I will just, whatever position you want me to take is the position I'm going to argue. Like the other night, I'm not a Christian, but that's the position I held in the argument, right? So, and for me, it's just about getting more information, digging deeper, pushing the narrative further. Just exploring.
And you would consider yourself an atheist, though?
I didn't really try to label myself anything. So I have been labeled an atheist, an agnostic, and an atheist. So.
But you don't use labels yourself having the conversation or anything like that. You wouldn't pick a label yourself?
No.
Is there a reason for that? I know my reasons behind it. I find them very detrimental.
Well, A, I think they can be divisive. But B, I think in order to label myself, I would have to claim one of my opinions as truths, and I don't do that.
Why not?
Because as much as I know, I don't know anything, right?
Yeah.
Like,
no, well, I would. Go ahead. Sorry.
When you draw a line in the sand, it's really hard for people to be comfortable coming forward with beliefs that they think you'll ridicule just based on the label you threw out there.
Yeah, well, that's everybody knows my history with labels. I fucking hate labels. I find the same approaches. Ask me questions, talk to me. Go down that route and find out who I am through that direction.
Right.
So, as you say, you're in Texas, so the time zones you'd be up late in the streams for relative to us over here in the UK. Is there any that you've found that would be bit of late night fun for you? Do you stay up late and argue with people? Have you been over to Gers? I've seen you in Wild.
Gers, the first stream I actually participated in.
Oh, there must have, yeah. Tell us the story there. There must have been something there now to make you actually jump on.
No, he just, I think it was a particular topic that I happen to know a little bit about. So, I jumped on. I was playing fact checker, I think, first, but I just think like some of us stay in the background because it can get really intense, right?
Yes.
And as much as I love to debate, I'm much more fond of exploring.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think realizing that Gurr and a lot of people on his panel seem to be really open and kind of not as intense, I think, made it easier to start there.
So are you saying Gurr's channel isn't intense? Because it's...
Well, it can get intense, but Gurr's pretty laid back. And in between dumpster fires, the chat is too.
Yeah, there's quite a few dumpster fires does be happening over there, though.
Yeah, and when those happen, you'll see me slink back, like, okay, I'm gonna check it later, guys.
Well, we've heard a wee bit about your time now and all the rest of it and how you're about and all. So give us a wee bit of your history then, Pixie. Were you born Christian? Were you born into a religious family? Was there a reason you left religion, if it was involved?
Okay, well that's a really interesting dichotomy. So I would say I was born into a Christian household. I wouldn't say that it's any sort of fundamentalism or overly religious.
Mm-hmm.
My mom's dad was a preacher for the First Christian Church. My dad's family was divided between the natives and their practices and beliefs and the Church of Christ,
mm-hmm.
which is ridiculously strict and I hated. I'd love to say that I have a deconversion story, but I don't. I spent my life trying to convince myself to believe and feeling really bad that I couldn't. And everybody thought I was a great example and this great little Christian, and I knew all the verses and I knew all the stories and I could converse with the best of them, but I just couldn't make myself believe, right?
You just weren't convinced.
Right. And so I thought, okay, well, maybe if I understand some of the religions that influence Christianity, I'll get a better understanding. So I started by exploring Gnosticism, Zoroastrianism, religions like that I could see influences for in the Bible. And that didn't help, but it was fun. So I continued exploring.
Was there any that came close?
No. Sadly, I have not come across a single religion where I thought, hey, that makes a lot of sense, or that adds something to my life that I can't have without it.
Community-wise and things like that, were these religions that you looked into on your own, or would you have went to churches and things like that to experience the community aspect of it, or was it just something that you would have looked up online or read a book about? Or
some of both. I think if I would start out, I always start out researching by myself,
mm-hmm.
and then when I think that I'm being too Western in my approach, or I'm not quite grasping something, I'll reach out to someone, or I'll go look for someone who has some experience or who has these beliefs, and then I start deep diving.
And even on the moving it from a book stage to having someone to talk to, there was no real pizzazz. You never got anything from it. We're going to call you an atheist now as well. You can't be convinced of a god. Isn't that atheist, Dave? Yeah? Help me out here.
I'm not convinced of a god. I wouldn't say I can't be convinced of a god. I would say that the existence of a god is a very, very remote, minute possibility in my world. But if he does exist, right, and that's a big if, mm-hmm. I do discount the possibility that any of us got it right.
Oh, yeah. Definitely none of us knows what the fuck we're talking about. Like.
Yeah, that sums up my position, I guess.
And what, as you say, growing up you wanted to believe. You know, it was something that you felt, probably due to the pressure around you, from the people around you, you know, or, as well as maybe some internal as well. But what I'm, have you wanted, the reason that you're still here, the reason that you're, you know, doing these streams and hanging out and having these conversations, for a lot of us it's because we were Christian and now we still have that, you know, that interest in it. But for you, you were never really a believer. So I'm wondering what really drives your interest in it. What drives you to have these conversations with all of us ploggers?
Part of it, like I said, is just exploration. I love exploration, but I think the atheist community actually provides a lot for people like me who don't necessarily have a deconversion story.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you could believe it and stop believing it, then maybe there wasn't something wrong with me because I couldn't believe, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was kind of that at first.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, we'll not go into default positions, and if anyone mentions rocks, they're getting fucking thumped. Like, but yeah, you have to be convinced of something first. And growing up in the Western culture over here, where Christianity is so big, you know, you're growing up in it, and it's expected. Like, you're, as you say, you were growing up, you wanted to believe, everyone around you believed and stuff like that. Could you remember a time where, you know, that wasn't what you were supposed to be aiming for? You know, it's been drummed into us on a cultural level that it's expected now, so to speak. But I would say the standard position would be you don't know. You know, if you don't have the information.
Well, I'm pretty anti-authoritarian, so I don't know that outside pressure ever really was what made me want to believe.
Mm-hmm.
I will say my grandfather was probably an exemplary example of what people think Christians should look like, right? He was a preacher, but he didn't accept money from the church. He accepted a parsonage, but he insisted on paying the church back. Right. He worked 6 days a week. He was probably the biggest peacekeeper I've ever met in my life. I have seen people scream 2 inches from his face, and his exact response was something like, "I think you're a little too angry to have this conversation with me right now. How about we come back to this in just a little bit?" And he was just that kind of person, right? And so I think as a child, I associated that with his religion.
Right.
And I didn't want to disappoint my grandfather, and I didn't want to disappoint my mom.
Your grandfather sounds like a fantastic man, but I think that's down to his character as a person. You know, that attachment. I can understand now why you have that internal desire to do that, because of the attachment to the Christianity. But I think that's more his character. He was, you know, more that sort of person.
But as a child, I didn't understand that.
Yes. Oh, no. Totally understand. Yeah. I'm getting what you're portraying across. Yeah. Was he about an awful lot? You know, was he lived close by? Is we a close family?
Oh, yeah. Yes. So, my dad was a Marine, mm-hmm. and he was a sniper, and in Vietnam, he was on the rescue teams, things like that. And so he had a lot to work through, right? So my parents were actually separated. They were never divorced, and they never saw other people, but they were separated because my dad had some stuff to work through, right?
Yeah.
So for 5 years or more, my grandfather was practically my dad. Yeah.
Well, a lot of time. You know,
yeah.
It's not that you're seeing him on the weekends and he gives you some chocolate and some lollipops and you want to make him feel better. He's in the house with you every day. You know? Yeah. And that was for what, 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind me asking what sort of age bracket it was for yourself during that period?
So I want to say probably from about the age of 2 or 3, mm-hmm. Until right before 3rd grade, probably.
Very impressionable age as well. Like that's, you know, the fatherly figure, that person in charge, you know, the man at the top of the family, so to speak, or whatever, is seen as the hero, seen as the, you know,
right.
Yeah, and then you've got all of this added attachment on top of it, you know. Again, it just... Go ahead.
Oh, I have a very chaotic family too, you know, like very loud, very chaotic. And he was like the calm, peaceful one that could hold everybody together, could smooth anything over, send people to their corners. Like, he was just that person.
You've had enough. Into the corner.
Yeah.
No, he seems, it's people like that, especially at that particular age, that are going to become very, very impressionable upon you. Like, even now, X amount of years later, you know, he still made a big difference in your life, you know?
Absolutely. I'm not much like him. I'm probably way more antagonistic than than he ever could be.
Was he always under the belief that you believed? Did you ever let your guard down around him? Did you ever have conversations with him like that? Or you always portrayed the good Christian girl around grandfather?
Yeah. Well, I was still pretty young, you know. Like, I was I was probably third or fourth grade. Wait, hold on. Towards the end of my fourth grade year, we lost him.
Oh, sorry.
So, yeah. And so I didn't really ever let that out in front of him. Mm-mm. No. I made the mistake of letting my guard down a little bit. Oh, I'd probably say early high school, maybe late junior high. And my grandmother, who was not so peaceful, let me know that that was awful in some not so subtle ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
Do you think he would have been accepting of it?
I do, but I also think that it would have hurt him. Like in that small, with Christianity comes a lot of guilt, right?
Oh, yes.
Especially for people you can't save.
Mm-hmm.
And so, well, I think he would have been accepting of me and he wouldn't have treated me any different. I think on some level it would have hurt him.
Yeah, because they do have that, you know, the failure mentality, the victim mentality as well. Like, but
yeah,
I'm sorry, you know. But
I think my mom still deals with that. You know, she's still not quite okay with the fact that I'm not a believer.
Really?
And I didn't come out right and tell her until one day she asked me why I wasn't taking communion. She had asked me to go to church with her.
Yes.
She wanted to know why I wouldn't take communion.
And that was how it came across to her. Or that's how you told her. And
well, I kind of told her because it would be like me spitting in the face of your religion, Mom. And that's how the conversation started.
That's a hell of an opening line.
Yeah, well, and I don't know. I think maybe sometimes if I took the hardline atheist approach, it might be easier on her, right? Because she tries so much harder to get through to me than she does to get through to my brother, who claims full out atheism, you know?
Oh, sure, yeah, he's got the guard up. Don't waste your time, Mum. It's not worth it.
Yeah. And then I have a sister who's a believer, and another sister who is a believer but is going through like a crisis of faith kind of thing. So she may not be for long, I don't know, but I try not to influence that at all.
Yeah, you know, point in the right direction, but, you know, don't drop hints, so to speak. Don't influence. Yeah, it's like just give the information. It's point them in that.
Well, I let her vent to me, and if she asks me a direct question, I'll answer it honestly, but I don't offer input or anything. I just let her make her journey.
How long has that been going on for?
Her serious questioning?
Yeah.
Probably for about a year now. Yeah.
Later on in life?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's 22 months younger than me, so yeah.
Well, you know, a fair amount of time being under the Christian umbrella, so to speak, being under the Christian influence. Like, have you, speaking of Christian influence, have you always lived in Texas?
No.
No. Is it very fundamentalist where you're living right now? Like, could you wear a t-shirt that says atheist? Could you go, you know, must you have your nativity play in your garden for Christmas?
Yeah, I mean, like, I could wear a shirt that had atheist, and I wouldn't say people would like, few people would harass me about it, but I would get a lot of sideways glances and a lot of like, I don't know if I want my kid playing with her kid, you know? And things like that. Yeah. There's almost a church on every street corner, you know? I mean, you're hard pressed to go 6 blocks without running into another church. And about an hour from where I am is where they had the Catholic priest put a fetus on the pulpit and yell at the congregation about voting for Trump. So
Wow, like a dog.
yeah. Yeah.
Like a fake one, obviously.
No, like a real fetus.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
That's extreme. Like,
Mm.
how did the congregation react? Is it something that they, give that man a pat in the back, or?
I mean, nothing happened to him. Nobody like up and quit the congregation. I mean, there were some people who weren't happy about it, but not enough to do anything, right?
Yeah, you'd like to think that they weren't happy about that. That's no, that's just fucking weird.
It is weird. It's very weird. But it's an odd mix, you know. You have some moderates, you have some fundamentalists, and you have some extremes, but yeah. I've been in worse places. I would say Kansas was worse.
Really?
Hmm. But I lived in a little tiny town too, so that could be why. But I thought Kansas was worse than Texas.
Have you moved about it a lot in America? Do you have a particular place? Obviously you've mentioned Kansas, but was it probably the worst out of them all?
No, probably Oklahoma.
Bad experience? Would you have any bad experiences or any incidences that you would be willing to share with us as an example?
Well, I would, but it's not my story, right?
Oh, well,
Like
that's
I was
okay.
there,
Yeah,
but
well,
it's maybe I can do it without naming names, right? So I think part of it was a big culture shock because I had gone from Colorado, right? And I love Colorado. But it was kind of like people didn't like this person because this person was openly atheist, and they thought that it made this person very amoral.
right.
So another person was very abusive towards the atheist. And I mean physically, verbally, just very abusive. And they were in the middle of a manic episode, right? So they decided to call the cops on the other person. And watching how that unfolded was just absolutely mind-boggling to me, that this person could have no marks on them and all the marks be on the other person, and still it didn't make a difference because that person was atheist. I also don't like some of their laws. I think their laws are really backwards and just geared toward making as much money from people as possible. Perhaps it's because the state's close to bankruptcy. I don't know. It was just really weird and really awkward, and a lot of conspiracy theorists, right? And like, that's where I found the most people who I would consider Christian nationalists, who think that if you're not Christian, you're less American,
Mm-hmm.
that you don't belong here, kind of a sentiment. And it was just really uncomfortable.
Yeah, when you're in a place where everyone around you, I wouldn't say disagrees with you, but when everyone around you is so adamant that it's maybe that you shouldn't be there. It's like, we don't want you here. We want to contain our echo chamber. We want to maintain, our echo chamber. We don't want outside influence. It's extremes like that give the Christian, the cultishness. That's and phrases and descriptions that people say about it with the cultishness is the echo chambers, is keeping them around, and it becomes very like, how do you break out of that? Where's the opportunity for anybody to break out of that? It's very, very difficult.
I sometimes think it's approach, right? Like sometimes I go into a conversation with the intent to tear your position to pieces, and that's very evident when I'm doing that, right?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times Christians don't know what to think of me. I've had people tell me all the time, like I've had coworkers tell me, "You're such a good Christian," and I'm like, "But I don't believe at all." And they're
Yeah.
like, "Wait, what? You don't believe?"
I've
And I
had
think
that
it's
experience as
because,
well. Yeah.
yeah, and I think part of it is because before I ask them a question, long before I ask them a question that makes them question their own position, I am genuinely interested in learning what they believe and the positions they hold. And I think if you can show that you're genuinely wanting to understand where they're coming from, they're less defensive when you get around to, but what about?
Yeah, no, you have to work your way in. You can't come out of the bat. I found that myself as well. It's easier to it's not street epistemology, because I find that street epistemology sort of leans people in a direction or leads them in a direction. I would much rather have them tell me something and let the conversation flow in a direction that they feel comfortable with, and then when you see something that you disagree with in their conversation, as you say, you've now built up a rapport. That's when you go, well, what about?
Right. And I think by that time they understand that, I'm genuinely interested in understanding where you're coming from, right?
Hmm.
I do want to understand. I don't tend to listen just to react.
No, it's not about the gotcha moments. It's about finding. I like the psychology or whatever it is of the actual person. It's like we all know what you believe, because we've all been through this. I want to know why you believe that. It's what drives you to come to these conclusions. Like,
Exactly. And if they get stuck, I don't just immediately like, aha, you're stuck. I'll be like, look, from your perspective, I would assume you have two possible defenses, this one or this one.
hmm
Is that accurate? And generally they'll be like, oh yeah, I prescribe more to this one, and then we'll walk through it, but I'm not immediately against them because I like exploring, and I do generally find other people's beliefs very interesting. What they believe, why they believe what they believe, how they came to believe this. I genuinely am interested in that.
I find that meeting people in the skeptic community, this community, or the online community, whatever the fuck this group of people that we all talk and interact with is going to be called at. There is that drive to find out. Don't get me wrong. There's a few anti-theists out there, and there's a few people that do want to have the argument and that do want to scream. But there's an awful lot of us out there that are interested in exactly what you've said, and having a community like that will just breed more interest, more questions. It's, I never would shout at the child for asking questions. Ask more questions. It's give them the answers. If you don't know the answer, look away for 2 minutes and check it and fucking Google and come back and tell them the answer. I enjoy,
Exactly.
questioning things, questioning everything around you. It boils down to what a true, what a skeptic would be, always asking questions, always driving to find out that next information, that next piece of knowledge to make a better picture of what you have, for the world.
So I think that's very well put, and probably why I landed where I think the channels I landed in and actually spoke up in was what yours, Gers, recently Wildheart, and Danny. But like, I mean, there's a lot of other creators that I've been watching for years, but I wouldn't go in there and talk because they have a clear agenda, right?
Yeah.
And that's just not what I'm interested in.
As much as it can be nice for entertainment, to watch the dumpster fires and things like that, they don't achieve anything. They don't go
Mm-mm.
anywhere. It's just two people screaming their positions at each other, and the audience is not even learning anything. The audience is just laughing and eating popcorn.
And a lot of times it's just recycled dogma, right? There's no nuance. But this is where this comes from, or this is slightly different because of this, or I interpret it that way. You don't get there because you're lost in just spitting recycled dogma.
Yeah, and again, that's another thing where, beating it past all that and getting down to the actual person. Every single person in this fucking world is different. Every single person in this world has had a different life. So their life experiences, their personal testimony, if you will, is always going to be different. And that's where you find out the nuances. That's where you get the actual differences in the people, even in one church, you know, that they agree on everything dogmatically and religiously. Their stories are going to be different.
Exactly. Like even atheists, no two atheists have given me the same stories or even the same answers a lot of times.
Well, that's just one question, you know. I say what I find is you say to a Christian, you have a Christian worldview, and they will admit to having a Christian worldview because the Christian worldview does encompass an awful lot of things, you know, from abortion to gun rights to beating your kids to education, you know. It encompasses an awful lot of stuff saying you're a Christian because it comes with baggage. Saying you're an atheist literally means you come with no baggage because you don't believe in any of that.
Yeah. Sorry.
You're all right.
Questions.
Yeah, so that literally means that everything else about you except for that is open for discussion. You know, you can't assume any goddamn thing about that except that one question where you could make a lot of assumptions about someone if they said they were a Christian.
Right. Like my dog really wants in the room, so if you hear scratching, that's my dog at the office door.
Pat does that as well.
She is offended. Hold on, I better let her in.
Go on
or
ahead,
she's
go
gonna
for
keep
it.
scratching.
Thursday, if any of the mods out there can pop Savage's link into the chat. On Thursday we will be having Canon Wars on her channel, and then the after party over here we're going to swap it about. We did the opposite of last month. We've got Holy Spackle and Fiona going up against Willis and Sammy. If Sammy turns up, I may need a backup. But that's happening Thursday. That'll be over in Savage's channel. You let him in, sorted now. Happy puppy. You hear me?
No, I caught all but the last part.
Oh, I says all sorted. He's a happy puppy.
Oh, yes. I thought it was. Oh, hold on.
Does anybody else notice her audio changing?
Okay, I have both dogs. Nobody should be scratching at the door anymore.
I think your audio has changed. Maybe you plugged the lead out or something. Or pulled it.
Hold on.
She's now a munchkin.
Is that better?
No, you're still a munchkin.
Ah! That must be my phone. Maybe if I turn off my cam and move it over here. Am I sounding any better?
No, that's even worse. It sounds like you've swapped microphones to what you were using originally.
I did not. But let me turn off my headphones and just use my phone.
Well, as long as it works, audio, we've got audio. That's the main thing.
I sound like even more of a little kid.
No, you've got it nice and close to your mouthpiece now, so it's non-munchkin. It's not as good as what it was, but it's definitely way better. So,
okay.
Pixie, in reference to moving forward, and have you any goals for putting more content out or doing anything like that?
I've never put content out.
Right, more than nothing is more.
I don't know that I ever planned on having a YouTube channel. In my spare time, I actually do a lot of writing.
Well, I really, in all honesty, as I said to you before the stream come on, I told everybody I left Wild Hearts the other night, and I hung about for about another 45 minutes and just listened to you and Richard talk. And you have an awful lot of, as I say, you're very good at putting your point across. You're very articulate. You have the ability to see something from another person's side, which is rare. Maybe it's not rare. Maybe just people don't give a fuck. But actually going forward with that and being open to that is definitely something that I would appreciate seeing more of. You know, Having strong women in the community, again, something we need more of. So I can only encourage you to do something with that. You know, it's even if the streams that you join, you upload them to your channel. It's I think you've an awful lot of good things to say, and you're very good at putting it across, Pixie. So the more we can get of you in the community, the more times we can have you on panels actually interacting and putting your point across, is definitely something that we'd be willing to hear more of.
And it's very nice to hear, because I'm always very hesitant to join.
But that's just nerves. All right, as Dave says in the chat, give it 2 years. You'll be grand. You'll not be able to shut up. It'll be grand.
And I wouldn't know how to upload or any of that, to be honest.
Well, that's why we're all here. You know, we've got help, and I know I wouldn't have been. There's Dargendorp has just turned up. I wouldn't have been able to do any of this if it wasn't for Dargendorp's help. He originally helped me set up the computer. Dave in the chat helps us do the StreamYard. You know, we all come together and we all help each other out. All you need is a computer, Pixie, and a microphone, and you know.
I will definitely have to invest in a microphone, because I'm always on my phone, which is probably why my audio is having problems.
Yes, Dargendorp, it's all your fault. The PigSty is we could blame Dargendorp for the PigSty. Yeah, there's Cider and Port. I helped him set up, you know, and it's grand. This is what we do. We all enjoy helping each other. I think that's something that's lacking in human nature. Yeah, and you pop in time to time to make people worry. Check your WhatsApp messages, Sarah. I poked you twice in WhatsApp. You haven't fucking reply. And I've lost my trail of thought now. Yes, people in the community here, I think, you know, obviously I'm biased because it's the PigSty community and I just happen to be the face of the fucking thing. There's an awful lot of us that I would consider. I don't do this on my own. I don't want anyone to think that I do all of this on my own. But the people we have in the community genuinely want to help, which is something I think that has been lost in society, has been lost in, you know, people are all about selfish. People are all, what can you do to best benefit yourself? What can you do to make your life better without, you know, considering other people, without taking into account other people? And the people that we have in this community here genuinely want to help each other. And maybe it's a weird, twisted sense of fucking guilt, but I don't want anybody, you know, if you have a friend and they're in need, if you can help, you should help. I don't understand that. That's just the way I was raised, maybe. But if you can help, you should help.
Right. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I think part of my exploration with different denominations within Christianity is trying to find out how that got lost, right? The religion that's supposed to make you your brother's keeper, and somehow it's turned into like prosperity and self.
Yeah. Prosperity gospel. What the fuck's going on there? You know, that is like one of the most twisted forms of fucking Christianity. Like, you know, it's all about the money. And we're just admitting it and we're embracing it and just giving it money.
Yeah, like God wants me to have 2 jets now. Okay, buddy.
But I see in you a genuine good nature. And it comes from your approach. You know, it comes from the way you talk. You know that somebody who's coming out of the fucking bat with a baseball bat screaming at Christians, they're not going to be genuinely willing to maybe sit down for 3 hours with a Christian and help them with something that they're particularly good at. You know, if we've got a really evil anti-theist, sorry, evil's a bad word, wrong context, but if we've got a real strong anti-theist over here that can say, for talk's sake, you know, build a computer, and then we've got someone over here who's a Christian, who's a genuine Christian open to conversation, but because they're a Christian, you can't help them. That's a hang-up. That's a problem, you know.
I agree.
If the person
I'm much more interested in finding common ground than what we disagree on.
Yes. Most definitely. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a shout out to the live chat. If anybody has any questions, or if anyone knows any crazy stories about Oh, she hit the wrong button. There you go. She hit the wrong button. Left me alone. All by myself. Questions for Pixie. All going well if they come back. And after a wee while, I will post the link. I think we're going to jump over to maybe a wee after party. We can just all hang out, have the crack, and I can eventually fix my fucking camera. Oh, this is the colours is all off on one of the screens. It's really annoying me. It's been annoying me the whole time. But yes, as we were saying, Thursday over. Yeah, she told me before the stream if she looked at the private chat or she looked at the chat, and she would probably hit X instead of back and close the whole window. We'll just moderate Pixie. So yes, over to Savage's channel on Thursday. That will be I think we haven't set it down yet, but probably around 10:30. And we've got Holy Spackle, and we're not even gonna free Scotty. That's all we're saying. Free Scotty's gonna be. There'll be a special video. Oh, we've got Pixie Wings device not connected. She's done it too fast and she's panicking now. You need to connect your mic and your camera. And she's gone again. Alright, gone again. We're going to give it a third try. Sammy, if anyone has noticed Samuel Venard, I don't know, man. Does that sound like a venereal disease or is that just me? Is in the chat. Sammy's someone I've been working with now for close to a year. I'm getting to know a wee bit better. If anyone's seen Sammy on the stream. Oh, Pixie, there you go. You just saved me from embarrassing Sammy. Go on ahead. Thank you. You're back.
I told you I would do that. I do it every time at least once.
It's a muscle memory. You're fighting your muscle memory. But welcome back. Welcome back. As you said, have anybody any questions from the chat that we can, or as I was saying just before you cut out, anybody get any skeletons from her closet? You know, anybody out there know Pixie for years? Get involved. Give us some, embarrassing stories. We like embarrassing stories here. Moving on.
I've pretty much stayed to the background, so I'm not scared.
Here, have you seen how good of a hacker Dave is? He'll check your porn history, alright? Goodness knows what's in there. So, yes, Pixie, we were trying to convince you to start a channel.
Oh, I don't know about that. Maybe sometime when I'm less busy.
Yeah, well, that's it. In real life, always takes precedent. You've got 2 dogs. You've got children. These things.
No, just one.
Oh.
Just one little girl. Well, I say little. She's almost 16.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah.
Mine's about to turn 5 in February, and I'm cherishing every goddamn fucking... I don't care. Nope, don't care.
That's such a good age. From there to like 8 or 9, so much fun.
Yeah, we're not even going to start going down that route because everyone's just going to hear the same stories of me telling everyone how fantastic she is, okay? I don't know if you've seen on Twitter, she got the lead role in the nativity play. She's Mary, the mother of Jesus. Happens Tuesday morning, 10 o'clock. So I was like, her mother was like, well, you're working, so I was like, no, I'll just pick it off. I don't care. But you're not getting paid. I don't care if I'm not getting paid. I'm going to see my daughter's first performance ever in a play. I'm going to drive 2 hours. I'm going to get up at 7 in the morning. I'm going to fucking drive down there. I'm going to be there with bells and whistles and a bouquet of flowers for the lead role. Isn't that what you do, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
And do not tell her good luck. Good luck is bad luck in the theater.
Oh, right. We have to remember that. So, what we're going to do is, since the audience is absolutely useless at coming up with questions... Oh, no.
Because none of them know me.
Pixie mentioned she sounds young. Has anyone ever asked to speak to her parents when they call her? Happens to me all the time. That's from Sarah.
Yes. Yes, and I used to find it really annoying. I used to be like, I am the mom. But then I just started embracing it, right? And I get knocked off of telemarketer calls like really quick because they're like, you're not even old enough to drive, are you? And I'm like, no. And they're like, when are your mom and dad getting home? I don't know. And then they stop calling me.
Right. Sorry, I was just copying the link. Okay, people, we're gonna play a game. It's called StreamYard Roulette. There we go. Pixie, let's see who we get. Who's afraid to ask a question in the live chat, but is that much of a narcissist they want to come on and hear their own voice? Let's see who comes in first. I know who's going to come in first, but let's see who's... It's Stephen the narcissist. Hello, Stephen.
You brought up fucking narcissism. I was like, right, I'm on the way.
I know. I totally knew you'd be the first person in, so I was like, yeah. Who's so full of themselves that they can't type it in the live chat because they can't hear their own voice? Stephen.
Yeah, me, obviously. Yeah, I mean, like, it's no brainer, right?
Stephen, have you met Pixie?
I haven't had the pleasure of meeting Pixie, no. So,
Hello.
yeah, it's good to meet you.
Everybody can join, Sarah. You're more than welcome to join. There is 1, 2, 3 more slots. There's technically fucking... I pay for it now. So, oh, Dave, yeah, remind me to do that thing.
There's technically 7 more slots, right?
Yeah. Remind me to do that thing, Dave. When does that run out? Yeah, StreamYards, for everybody who doesn't know, StreamYards is running a sale at the minute. What usually is $25 a month is now $10 a month.
Oh.
Okay, so that's a big saving. The only thing is, you do have to keep the StreamYards logo on screen. But if anybody loves Dave the way we all love Dave, we're not going to talk about that. Did I just see a zebra in a bed?
You did. I think we all did.
Maybe.
Steve Bowden, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm very chuffed with myself that I remembered your name from a way back when you used to have that as your YouTube name, and now I'm annoyed at myself for maybe doxing you ever so slightly.
No, it's okay. I'm perfectly content having my name out there. I prefer Big Zebra, but it's okay to call me by my name.
I know I have to get into the habit of that, but I've always called you. What was that? Zebra. Have you met Pixie?
Yeah. No, in fact, I've never heard of her before, but I do have a question for her.
Brilliant.
Sure.
Okay. How many rutabagas could you fit inside a llama? I'm asking for a llama friend who's presumably into that sort of thing.
I wouldn't have any idea.
Well, okay, so I will tell my llama friend that you are not interested. Sorry, I realized that was bizarre, but what happened was years ago, I got a spam email from about a Nigerian prince, and I wanted to respond. So I responded by saying, I'm sorry, I don't understand you. I don't think you could fit that many rutabagas into a llama.
That's hilarious.
And so now whenever I get a chance, I ask people that same question. It's a thing.
I have my little weird, quirky phrases. If you see me around, you'll see them. Like I say, hi, pretty shiny peoples, a lot.
Oh,
I
yes.
see the shiny people a lot. I shaved my head specifically for the stream to make sure that it was
That
shiny.
was in an REM song, Happy Shiny People.
And I say later days a lot. Oh, I added a new one because I've been watching the crazy QAnon prophets because they're darkly entertaining. Yeah, and there's this crazy one named Kat Kerr who thinks she's a commander of angels, right?
Sure.
So she went on this whole she went on this whole diatribe about like commanding the angels from Africa to come release the terror of the Lord in America, right? And it was the hilarious thing, and she ends her command by going, "Go hosts, make toast." And so like so go hosts, make toast is one of my new things.
I like it. I think you should collect these things.
Angry
You're
Llama.
welcome.
If I can just say hello, Angry Llama, and does
Yes.
anyone know Angry Llama?
It's
Never
Sarah.
heard of it.
I just heard someone about putting Rutabaga as an llama, and I'm like, that would make a very angry llama. So that's my name now.
Oh, okay. Well, you're welcome to use it. And anyone is welcome to use that question if it should ever come up. The need. Should I sign off now that I've said my question? You seem to have a lot of people here.
Oh man, no, we've loads of room. Don't worry about it. I've it all. Like we've got room for loads of people. We've room for another 4 people.
Okie dokie.
For the longest
I
time,
also-
my name used to be the Indigo Llama, so it's a throwback. Yeah.
Have we ever met before, Angry Llama?
It's Seraphim, you dolt.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Hi, Sarah.
Hi, darling.
Right, there's the laugh. Now I know the laugh. There we go. Right, you were all serious sounding there for a second. How are you, pet?
I want to go home.
Yeah, what are you there now? Oh God! Right. Oh no. Oh no. Hello,
What?
Sammy.
Hello.
Hi, Sam.
Did you get that little one to bed?
I think so.
Hi, human.
Yes. She's wet asleep.
Right, you need to mute your TV, man.
Pixie,
Yes.
I love you.
Hello.
Actually,
How are you?
Sammy is the guy
I'm
I
good.
was
How are you?
mentioning. I work with Sammy.
You poor thing.
Yeah. Hold
I'm
on.
not
Who
ready
are you
to
talking to? Are
confess
you
my
talking to
love
him
yet.
or are you talking to me, sir?
Both of you.
Okay.
I'm trying to
Well,
work how to get the big screen on here on the phone.
I think I know you slightly better than I know Sammy, so maybe I should apologize to him, but, you know, both of you. You poor thing.
Pixie, that's not nice.
That's Sarah saying that, not Pixie.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You all sound the same.
Well then.
Oh, what? Right. This is one thing. Mentioning of similarities. Pixie, you are. I wouldn't say the spitting image, but you are very similar looking to. I originally.
Anna Paquin. Anna Paquin,
Pardon?
the actress. Anna Paquin.
No,
She
somebody in
played.
the community. The first time I seen her picture, I actually had to double check because I thought I'd looked up the wrong account. Because it looks Friday nights, 4 o'clock UK time, which is what, 11. Oh, Dave, help me out here.
Do you mean
What are you
Dodger?
looking for?
You could say she looks a bit like Dodger.
No, there's a person in the community whose name I can't remember right now, who's been here for years, that I had to double check that I hadn't looked up. I thought it was like a sock account or a new account or something. It's like spitting image nearly. Well, not spitting image, but you know, I and now I can't remember and made a huge deal about it, and it's not worth anything.
That's okay. I'm afraid I wouldn't know who you're speaking of anyway. There's a lot of times people throw around names, and I'm just like, yep, I have no idea who these people are.
Oh, same here.
Here,
But that's
boss.
because I'm forgetful, and I'm like I mentioned earlier, I just pop in now and then and just make people worry about me.
Yeah, thanks for that. It's always wonderful.
Well-
Well, I didn't have a choice. I was in the ICU. I was kind of incoherent, so it's not like I could type anyway.
Mm. You were in the ICU? I hope you're okay now.
Yeah, I'm still in the hospital. Well, actually, I'm in a rehab facility now for physical rehab.
Oh, well, I hope it's going well.
Yeah, I'm able to do everything. I'm just here because I'm not able to dress my own wound, and they don't have a wound care center here. So
Right. Okay, well, I'll keep my hooves crossed for you.
oh, thank you.
Richard, the link's in the chat, man. If you want to jump in, there is room for more.
And I can't see the chat because I'm on my phone, so I have no idea what's going on in chat. But hi, chat.
Oh, I'm totally just fixating on who that other person.
Hey, MathPig.
And once again,
Sammy, yes.
hit that like button, or I will feed you hospital food.
Oh God, no.
God damn.
Sammy, yes.
Yes, no, I didn't want to interrupt. What's going on with your face tonight?
What's going on with my face
Yes, you
tonight
look
is, Sammy, this is what I was actually. MathPig was a digital head for the first, I think, 13, 14 months.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the first while, right?
Yeah. I didn't want to show my
Yeah.
face and all the rest of that.
That's started.
And
My
I
cat made me feel my face.
I almost just want to kind of congratulate you a little bit, MathPig, because, you know, you've gone from the stage of, as you've just said, the first 13, 14 months of your channel, hiding your face, and now you come onto my channel just for the sex appeal. So what a 180 you've done, you know, well done.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I've went the whole
The journeys
time.
we make, the journeys we make in life.
But what's
I
happened,
detect Richard.
I dropped the camera whenever I was setting up my 5th monitor, and it went all fuzzy, and now I'm stuck with this one, which is super light sensitive. And while I was setting up the new monitors, Corey, if you're still awake, pet, Corey was found an owl LED strip, so I set up some, as Stephen described it. What did you describe it as, Stephen?
Sensual. It was sensual lighting.
Right. So we have it. And it
Look at that, like, look at that. That's private room with a strip club level lighting.
It changes, man. It changes. It's smooth.
Sorry,
That's what I'm saying. Look at this.
I was not aware that I was on MathPig's OnlyFans account, so I'm sorry.
Apparently, that's what's happening right now.
Just don't break out the mankini, please.
Oh, now Richard's giving us ideas. Us ideas. But yeah,
Hi,
this shit
Richard.
comes with a remote and all. Like, I can pick any color I want. You know, we just go red. We go porno, right? We're
Red
in,
light district.
we're in the red light
Open up
district.
your
Respect,
curtain.
Pixie.
So, yeah.
Scarlett left the night at your house thinking that you were some sort of superstar and famous YouTuber. So she was all happy.
Well, you
How's
said,
Richard,
you said you wanted to see the setup when you come over. I didn't know you were bringing your daughter with you. Like,
Fantastic stuff.
yeah, if it works when I get a new camera. According to, we're going to have to hold Da accountable for this now, Sammy. Da said in the chat earlier he bought me a Logitech C90. You don't need to know what that is, but just go.
That's a good cam. Good cam.
Yeah, well, he said he bought me a new one. He says, new camera ordered, and I was like, thanks for banning Logitech. So I'm making this up.
He told me that. Yeah, he brought you a brand new one. He says.
So who was it that brought the new camera?
Pardon?
Who was it that bought the new camera?
Pork
His
Granda,
dad.
which is my father. Pork Granny is me mother. Pork Granda is me father.
Okay, I didn't know if that was actually your father or someone pretending to be your father, because, you know, people are weird that way.
Yeah, don't click that icon and zoom in on it. It is the most twisted, upset-looking pig you've ever seen in your life. So back to Pixie. Back to
pig.
Pixie.
Yes, Pixie. Hello, Pixie.
I told you I don't have much to say. I don't
Richard's
even know
here
what
now,
a
though.
channel would be about.
Richard's here now.
Hey, Richard.
All you have to do is make an assertion, and Pixie will tear it apart. That's all you got to do. It's easy.
Oh, did Pixie hear what I was saying was that, so I finally heard a, well, it's new to me, argument for Jesus and God. Still stupid, but new to me. He said that since the Jewish people since Jewish people worship God and they accept that Jesus was a real person, that obviously means that they're real. That was his entire argument.
That's
What?
a
Depends on what
real
you mean by real.
fallacy. There were multiple Yeshuas that existed, right?
Exactly.
So you would have to prove to me that not only did your specific Jeshua exist as a single person rather than a amalgamation of people, but then you would have to further prove that just because he historically existed, you would still have to prove that the claims made about him were accurately represented, right? So it just doesn't seem like a logical argument. It just seems like an appeal to tradition more than anything else.
No, I'm just picturing a Jesus Frankenstein monster.
it could be an appeal to an immaterial construct. For instance, as soon as you think of something, the fact that it exists in your mind means it exists as at least an immaterial construct. Say you invented a new kind of car engine.
See,
Well,
I've
it may
heard
not
that
be
before.
physically manifest yet. Maybe you haven't built it, but it still literally exists.
So
Right,
if I
but
think
until
I
you
have
build
a-
it, but until you build it, you don't know if it is going to run correctly, and therefore you don't know if it truly is an engine, do you?
No. Oh, it is an engine. I'm not saying it necessarily would work, but it is an engine.
But if I imagine or think that I have an 11-inch penis, does that mean I have one?
Wow. I bet the other zebras make fun of you for being so tiny.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, well, so sorry for you.
Why would I want to downgrade?
I'm sorry, I missed the entire argument. I couldn't think.
Sorry, I think I interrupted someone somewhere.
Oh no.
I was just going to say, I just hope that we all appreciate that it took us less than 20 minutes for like a genuinely good conversation to talk to just like fucking downgrade to us talking about dicks.
Yeah. Look, that's,
Yes.
Well,
David,
it's
just
about-
be
that's
some kind of
the
It's
effect.
for us all
actually.
just to appreciate that happens.
It's the effect that you have, Stephen. You know.
I mean,
I'm
look,
afraid
what
so.
can I say? You know,
blaming me for that kind of stuff anymore.
You don't do what sort of internet stuffing anymore?
They don't need that. Especially since I'm in the hospital, I can't do that here. They might walk in on me at any point.
Oh, right.
I suppose that's true.
That
have a
might make
tendency to
things a
come
little
back and check.
awkward.
Yeah, or a lot.
So Pixie.
Mm.
Well, I don't know. It depends on how big of an exhibitionist you are, right? May not be awkward at all.
That might be awesome, yeah.
I mean, true.
Pixie.
I did have to bathe in front of someone to prove that I can bathe myself. So
That's weird.
Right. Oh,
they're
geez.
like, they're like, we need to know what kind of physical therapy you need. I don't really need physical therapy because I can do everything. The only thing that I need physical therapy for is like older injuries. Like I don't have any balance on my right ankle because I sprained it like 50 million times as a kid, and I have like no strength in my hands due to my carpal tunnel. That's the only stuff that I'm getting physical therapy for. But they're like, well, we need to make sure you can go to the toilet by yourself and bathe yourself. I'm like, okay,
Mm.
I have no shame. Let's go.
Oh, look, the golf ball on his
How did
elbow.
you,
How beautiful.
How did you manage to balance a fucking tomato on your elbow? What the fuck?
I went to
Why is
sleep.
it so red?
I went to sleep. Well, it's red because of the lighting. You know, my sensual lighting.
Oh, right, okay.
but
No, it's red.
Right.
it is. No, I went to sleep about 2 weeks ago on the sofa for about an hour, and I woke up and it was like a little cut on it, which I maybe thought I'd nicked it on something. You know, it's an old sofa, or there's some big spiders in my house. I was like, well, just let it, you know. And Corey was giving me a hug like the other day, and she ran her hand down my arm, and she got stopped at my elbow, and she was like, "What's going on with your elbow?" And I looked down. And give it a, and yeah, if you look at it from this.
Can we get the
angle,
profile? Oh, yeah.
Oh my
There we
God.
go. You're growing a baby golf ball. You're going to be a daddy
Yeah.
again.
Mm.
I don't know.
So
It, you
now
know,
we have that proof
see how
that
this is a normal elbow.
So now we know how MathPig reproduces. He just separates. I don't remember.
Yeah, I was just about to say you sort of look like Peter in that one episode of Family Guy where he just grows another person in his neck, but it was just with you, it's just your elbow. It's gonna hatch one day, and it's just gonna be
Don't-
just like an
don't be
extremely high
prejudiced.
pitched Northern American accent.
It's actually smaller than what it is. We looked it up online. I think it's
I
a
have.
fatty lymphoid or something. It should naturally go back down, although they may have to. One person suggested I needed the Bible, and I was like,
Right.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah,
the
sure.
reasoning behind
Sure.
it was because
that's
Bibles
practical.
always have good hard backs, and I should hit it hard and bust it. My
All
mother's
right, not where I
suggestion
thought
was,
that was going, but good.
yeah, my mother's suggestion was come down and I'll cut it open and we'll squeeze out whatever's in it. And both answers
Your mom
is
thinks it's a cyst.
yeah.
There's a name for that sort of illness where if it is a person growing on your elbow, sudden onset conjoined twin syndrome.
Could I get a
Sudden
job
onset
in the new remake of Total Recall?
Yeah.
There's
Sudden
someone who has the stream running in the background, and it's all I can hear. It's
Sammy.
so distracting.
Oh no, it's Sarah.
Hey,
I was blaming you because you're useless. Sorry, it was Sarah.
thanks.
Oh no, it is you.
Hey.
Sarah's muted.
You see, if we all stop, it'll catch up, and you just hear it in the background. It's so fucking distracting.
Sammy,
They-
turn your
they-
TV off. No, the TV.
Don't turn it up. We can't hear it.
What are we watching?
We're watching us.
No, well he has us on the TV. Sweet.
Sammy's on the
Yeah,
handheld
I'm
on his
trying
phone,
to.
but
I'm
watching
hearing two
it.
people at the same time. It's annoying me. Hello.
But
What about you?
have you shorted your audio?
I'm trying to find out the. Yep. Go ahead.
Thank you.
While we've got this pause, I'd like to recognize that Pixie
Hello.
won an argument with me,
Mm.
Uh-huh.
and it was an actual defeat. I had to admit defeat. Had no choice about it. Want to say that was excellent.
What was the argument about?
You all right?
I took an apologetic Christian stance.
Mm.
I gave up divine authorship, but I did so in order to win the argument.
Uh-huh. Well, Richard, you finally lost.
Well, it was an argument. I was also supporting a position I don't hold.
Yeah, we both were.
She definitely got the stronger position, though, no doubt.
It was a
Right.
very good conversation, though, Richard. As I said to Pixie, I don't know if you were listening at that stage, but when I said that I was going to bed, I hung around for another 45 minutes because I was very interested
Noticed.
to see your interaction between the two of you. More so Pixie's because, sick of you, know you forever,
Because nobody knows who I am.
Oh, no.
We'll figure it out over time.
I was only winding Richard up and it came across as an insult, but Richard knows I love him. But I was interested to see how Pixie would react and how Pixie would, because I don't know you, Pixie, So I was interested to see your approach.
Pixie's lovely.
You think
No doubt.
that about everybody at this time of night, Sammy?
I know, but lovely person. Well spoken. Lovely.
Yeah,
Thank you. I don't know that
Hi,
I consider.
Pixie.
Hi. People say things like you're intelligent or you're,
Here. What about
articulate,
you?
and I
You
don't
alright?
necessarily consider myself those things. So that's very sweet.
Good. Then
Yeah.
you're not proud of yourself.
Good.
Modesty's better than.
So now we
fucking-
can add humble to the list.
Yeah.
Good.
I just say I'm endlessly curious.
I'm just about to say, can I talk about what happened tonight?
God damn.
No names, no nothing.
Aye.
What, the stream that happened tonight?
No, before that,
You have a story you would like to share with us, Sammy?
not a story. It's just about
You-
over beating you and seeing your whole setup and stuff.
Oh, shit. Yeah,
Sammy, you can tell us, but you have to keep your hands
no,
where
it's up
we
to
can
you.
see
It's not
it.
me. That's up to you.
Oh, yes. I work with Sammy. Sammy was in my house earlier. He's seen my. And then he left.
Fantastic.
That was an odd point to
Absolutely
pause at, but
fantastic.
okay.
Like I explained till I'm not going to say names. Like I explained till somebody's father. It's like being in a turret of a tank. You just like a half a semicircle. Everything's there. Fantastic, as in cameras and TV screens and stuff. Brilliant.
Thank you, Sammy. We'll get you there. I have a spur screen down the stairs, man, for it's got red lines that run up the left-hand side, but it does for a secondary. We'll give you that.
No, brilliant setup. It's the best I've ever seen. Brilliant.
If I know MathPig,
I'm
he's
not a
also
computer
got a
whiz, as
spare
you know,
bathtub
but,
and a spare
brilliant.
toilet somewhere.
The spur toilet is behind my mum's shed at her
See?
house. It actually has a crack in the side of it, though, so...
But it's
there's
still
a
works.
spur, now, and there's a spur
An
sink.
actual toilet.
There is a spur sink there beside the toilet, but there is no bath.
Oh, okay. I'll take
Sure.
that as like 65% right.
The bath was there. The bath is now in my bathroom.
Yep. That's
Okay,
MathPig,
I'll just
yeah.
pressure myself.
Why throw things out? I don't know.
No, I'm not. I'm just pissed over myself.
Have you got your car straightened out, the licensing,
think-
all that?
Me?
Yeah, you. With
No,
the
I'm
nose
hearing
on
you
your
twice,
face.
sir. I'm responding to your second response.
I've got a week to get the paperwork sorted, or yeah, I printed the form out yesterday. It's down the stairs in the kitchen, Richard.
You said that 2 days ago.
No,
For a moment, I thought you were asking me about my car. I'm like, oh, hell no. That's why I'm here in the first place.
well, it's only a fucking license plate. It's not. I got the car going. Oh yes, I got my car back today, Richard. In my not Port Granda, my other father. He fixed the car, put a new starter in it, and my reversing lights had went out, and I thought I'd blown the bulbs. He went and double checked the sensor in the top of the gearbox. It was the reversing sensor light that had gone out. He went and bought a new one rather than putting the second hand one in, and out of nowhere, now I've got reversing sensors.
No way.
Turns out there was reversing sensors in the car that didn't work because the broken sensor was half broke when I bought the car. So now when I reverse it goes beep, 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 beep.
It was the fancy.
What good is that?
It wasn't any baby.
What good is that? The good of that is, man, I recently, like within the last week, bumped into a 4-week-old BMW, and it's £400 to paint the bumper because my reversing lights weren't working. So now that I've got a beep, 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 yeah, that'll not happen again.
Just can't drive, apparently. That's what I heard. That's the
Sammy,
rumours on the street.
Sammy walks around the car park at night after work going, who's the first person leaving to take me home? Because he lives with his brother who never fucking finishes at 5 o'clock, always hangs about later. He'll tap me, he'll tap my dad. He's like, who's going past my house on the way home the quickest?
But here, you couldn't miss your fucking house with the Christmas tree lights.
It's the two fuckers next door.
You're involved with that.
But anyway, yes, back to Pixie.
Here.
Pixie.
All the lights come
Yes.
to your house.
Sammy's trying to steal your thunder here. Stealing your thunder. Out of all the Egypts you've
Not
met
objecting.
online, right? Out of all the Egypts, I'll rephrase that. Out of all the believers that you've met online, with the exception of Richard, have you had any other good, genuine interactions? Would you be able to recommend anyone of the Christian faith, of the believing faith, that you would say, go and talk to this person, they're worthwhile talking to? If you say Smoky Saint, we're going to shoot you.
No,
I was actually going to say not yet. I haven't run into one who hasn't been either extremely defensive, has not melted down into yelling,
It's so quiet tonight.
or has not taken themselves too seriously, I should say.
So quiet.
Sammy, wait when someone else is talking, please.
I mean, I've met people in real life, but not on the internet yet.
No, the internet Christians seem to be very and screamy and shouty and very opinionated. Like they must.
Yeah, they're very aggressive and they take themselves very, very seriously. Well, I take
Right.
that back.
Do you want me to say something?
Tog and Will Freeman
You can
are,
go next,
are
Sammy,
they?
yes.
They're believers, aren't they?
Toad definitely
somebody.
is.
And Tog and is Will Freeman? I don't know
Yes,
if he is or
definitely.
not. Well, they're both good to talk to.
Tog was the very
Ni-
first interview I ever had on the channel.
Yeah, neither of them have they don't seem to take themselves too seriously, and neither of them have melted down on me or anything.
Every time I
They-
join Tog's streams, I
Yeah.
type in the live. Every time I join one of Tog's streams in the live chat, I always type #cancel Tog, and he laughs about it. He doesn't take himself serious.
Yeah. So there's two names.
Sammy, go on ahead. You're down to talk.
What about you?
Oh, now he's got nothing to say.
Nope.
Well, no. I'll say it as is. You know me. We're talking about atheists and Christians and whatever. I believe, right? At a certain extent.
you believe to a certain extent, if I can do a conversion, Buckfast conversion, does that mean that you are believing to a certain point where you think that there is an entity, a deity, some sort of power above us, but not the Christian God? Are you in that spiritual pantheistic phase?
For a start, I don't want to fall out, but any of your people.
Nobody's going to fall out with you here, man.
But no, I think it's more than being brought up as in believing. Not that I believe, as that it's being brought up as in believing.
Okay,
if that makes sense
broke,
to any...
that broke the Buckfast translator. Can you try again?
I mean, being brought up as in being drilled into your head. Yes, there's a God, there's a Jesus, there's, well, it's the same thing, apparently. Apparently. Being the same thing, or just constantly through it, you go to meetings, go to Friday night meeting, go to Sunday school, go to this, go to that. But you're just being through at it. If that means anything.
I have a quick request. Sammy, would you say the words, without identifying which one is which, would you say the words apparently and abhorrently?
I finished there about 10 minutes ago.
Apparently and abhorrently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
And the other one?
Are we doing vocabulary now? I wasn't paying attention.
So, back on topic.
I'm anxious now because I feel like I've left a name out and somebody will be mad at me.
You've left a name out?
I don't know. I feel like I have. I'm like, have I interacted with more reasonable Christians?
Oh, no, Jesus Christ. Don't fucking fail. Oh, there you go. Look, there's some cultural thing that's drummed into you. The fact that you say that and just nonchalant say it. But, no. See, that's the thing. By definition, right, by what we're defining is a decent person to talk to. The fact that you may have left some of them out, the fact that they're decent, they'll not cure.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I do still have an overly guilty conscience. That's something I've always had.
Yeah.
No.
Pardon?
It is?
I haven't got to have like a conversation with Bond, but the little interaction I've had with him has been not abrasive at all. So I guess there's that.
Hello, Granny.
I'm going to feel bad.
No, that's good. No, we know of these people. We know of these people. So it's good to have these interactions. So what we're going to do is we're going to work around the room and we're going to put Pixie in the spot. And we're going to start with Stephen. And we're going to go, Stephen, we need a question from you. Whether it's about Pixie specifically or a question in general, don't fucking ask about politics to make your life harder.
Oh, but that's such a fun subject.
No, Stephen loves his politics. Like, you know, Trump.
Oh, I do too.
Oh, she loves her politics. Okay, she loves her politics. Go, Stephen, go on. One question.
Okay, so, like, where are you politically? Like, you know what I mean?
She's a Trump supporter.
I am of the opinion. No, I'm not. I can't stand Trump, but I am of the opinion that we basically live in a corporate oligarchy and both sides are bought. One plays on one plays on culture wars, and the other plays on what people want, but they won't actually end up delivering.
Stephen's getting hard right now.
No, I'm not getting hard right now. Why are you making it weird? No, I just I totally.
You can always tell because he calls me his man bun.
I have my hair down right now. You fucking.
Must go where you host. What do you call him? Sorry.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah. So, what?
Stephen.
What?
Your hair must be short at the minute.
Why?
I'd like to point out that...
Okay, questions for Pixie, Sammy. Stay on topic, Sammy. Stephen, sorry. Thank you, Stephen. Zebra, have you a question for Pixie?
Well, actually, yes. Pixie, looking at Mr. Ryan, I think... I was wondering if you noticed the same thing that I did, that when he loosened his man bun, all these wrinkles appeared on his face.
Oh.
And I was just wondering if you noticed that too.
To be fair, I'm not even looking at the screen right now, so no.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna go to
Alright.
Sarah. We're gonna go Sarah. Angry Llama. Wonderful fucking icon too. Like, I love the icon. Have you?
I feel like
Back in a wee second.
No bother. Sarah, have you a question for Pixie?
Sure. What, if anything, do you miss about being religious?
I wasn't ever religious. I just tried to be. But I guess I miss. I guess to be perfectly honest, I'm going to be bluntly honest. I miss my mom taking for granted that I was a believer because I think it weighs heavy on her that I'm not.
Oh,
That she just goes to show how much. What is the worst thing about it? The pain I caused someone else. How much of a nice person you are.
Oh yeah, now I remember you said you never really were a believer because you
Yeah.
started at a young age not believing like I did. So yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Richard, I may regret this, but do you have no more than Sammy? Have you one question that you would like to ask Pixie? And don't ask her what the meaning of life is, because she's allowed to say 42, and we can move on.
I would say that the only meaning life has is the meaning you choose to give it, right?
Exactly. Richard,
yes.
one question for Pixie.
Yes, Pixie. How would you say you're learning debates and logic most helped you in adult life?
Have you
Uh, Probably in facilitating change for when change is uncomfortable for the people around me.
Could you give a scenario, an example of something like that?
I mean, I guess there's a million examples in everyday life, right? But let's go with, I had a friend in a very traditional from an Orthodox family. And they were very big on women should be subjective. They were very big on divorce is not an option.
You mean subjected?
Subjective towards their husbands,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And to the point where I was sitting in her living room with her and her grandmother when her husband came home. And her husband said, "I'm hungry. What's for dinner?" And she said, "Well, I just made this for the kids. There's still some stuff on the stove, but if that doesn't sound good to you, you can make a sandwich." I am not kidding when I say that girl's grandmother stood up, slapped her across the face, and told her to get up and make her man something.
Jesus.
This is the same woman when the first time she told her grandmother her husband was hitting her, her response was, "Don't give him a reason to."
Wow.
And
Okay.
so I think being able to put myself in her perspective, right, in the perspective she grew up with, and still help her justify a way out of that situation. I think things like that, just helping people facilitate some needed change.
Considering positions you don't necessarily hold.
Right.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
May I ask another question?
Sure.
Could you do your best to sing for us right now the Whitney Houston classic, Greatest Love of All?
No, because I don't know it.
Well, that's... don't worry, I have the lyrics right here.
No. Okay, so this is going to get into something
queued
about me,
up.
okay? I'll tell you something about me. I
Yeah.
love theater. I love being on stage. I can sing in any musical you put me in. But
Mhm.
if you take me to karaoke night and hand me a microphone, I will freeze.
Well, let me tell you that I believe the children are our future.
Teach them
Teach
well
them
and
well.
let them lead the way.
The way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of tried to make it easier and let the children's laughter remind us of how we used to be. Anyway, I'm done.
Check out bigzebra.com, an actual humor website.
Thank you.
Made by an actual human, totally not a zebra.
Well, maybe it's a zebra. You don't know.
Well, it's evidently zebra humor, but some people like it. Find it amusing. Humans sometimes like it.
Hope
So
so.
you like musical theater, Pixie?
I like theater in general. I've always been the theater debate kid. Yeah.
Oh. I just recently started back putting stuff in the theater here in my hometown. I'm like, I want to go so bad because recently they did 9 to 5, and I wanted to go see it so bad. I don't know what they're currently doing. Well, something I wanted to see too, but that's because I want to see all the things.
I want to see Wicked.
Oh, me too, so bad. I wanted to see. They did Wicked years ago, and they're like, we're not doing it again. I'm like, can you do it again? Because I want to go see it.
I almost went to New York. I've never been, just to see it and leave. But then I discovered that Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel weren't in that version, and I was like, no, I would have gone if it was Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth.
Same thing, but the price for the tickets went down when they were no longer in it. So that was like, oh, the tickets are, that's why they're cheap.
I know, right? Because they weren't there. I also appreciate Ted Neely and Carl Anderson. I know they're older now, but the 1974 version of Jesus Christ Superstar kicked butt over the 2000 version.
I can see that. Yeah.
Sorry.
I think that's the one that I've seen was the 1970 version. I did have to find a bootleg version of Avenue Q, but I couldn't find it because internet sucks. Because they wouldn't do that here because the people here don't know how to do puppet.
I also like Repo the Genetic Opera. That was fun.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that one. I've only seen the movie of that. I do want to see the play.
Yeah, I haven't got to see it live, but the movie was good.
I did go to Atlanta and I saw Hedwig in the Angry Inch, though. It was amazing.
Feel like I'm in a French class.
No. If we were in French class, we'd be talking about film noir, of course.
And I would just sing the song Eloeta because that's the only French I know.
Film noir is like good things happen to bad people. I mean, bad things happen to good people. Like Casablanca is a film noir.
Yes. If you ever played the game LA Noir too, really good example of that too. Good game actually.
Or what was the movie? What was the French movie that the Travelocity gnome came from?
Oh, I don't remember.
Amelie? Was it Amelie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was a really weird thing about that film because it was so original. And then they did the traveling gnome thing, which has been done many times, and sending letters back to the home of wherever you stole the gnome from.
Yeah. Well, hers was her mother and father. She was a flight attendant, so she traveled the world. Her mother and father had always planned on traveling, but her mother passed away before they could, and her dad gave up on the dream because he didn't want to travel without his wife. And before his wife had died, they had each put a little garden gnome side by side in their garden. So she took one of the gnomes and she would pass it to her flight attendant friends and stuff, and they would take pictures with the gnome in all these different places and send it in postcards back to the dad to inspire him to get out. It was done very
well, even if it's been done before. I actually managed to find garden gnomes that I purchased and then snuck onto the lawns of both my brothers. And it was a gnome holding a machine gun. And it was great. And
I just put gnomes in the gingerbread houses at my work. And a T-Rex in here.
Sorry, you put a T-Rex in it? Wow. That's great.
Okay, rude if I don't say goodbye. Rude if I do say goodbye. Peace and respect to y'all. Have a great night.
Bye, Richard.
Sammy, I can't answer the phone. I'm on stream with you.
Sammy wants to speak to in private, though. Just you alone.
Sammy, you feeling chatty? Do you want to talk, Sammy? Have you any questions you would like to ask Pixie? He's not there. He's not there. Pixie, have you had fun tonight?
Yes, it was not nearly as nerve-wracking as I predicted.
Hmm?
I don't regret talking myself into it.
Good. I'm very, very glad. I'm very glad because I did have a good chat. I enjoyed getting to know you a wee bit better. Again, I enjoyed, the conversation. And I wouldn't say it's set in stone, but it's definitely given me a more... I'm confident in my opinion of you. From what I got from the small sections, I'm definitely sure that you're a good person and a definite good addition to the PigSty if I can steal you over.
Well, thank you.
If I may, I'm going to take this opportunity to sign out as well. It's been great hanging out here. Thank
Everybody
you,
seems
Matt.
to be leaving, so we'll probably round it up now anyway.
And goodbye to all. It's been real.
Thank you very much for coming in, Zebra. Always good talking to you. I
It's
need
my
to get over
pleasure.
to you and Sam, or you and Richard's hangouts more often.
Yes, I look forward to it. Thanks.
Pixie, as the star of the show, have you anything that you would like to end on? Anything you would like to say?
Oh no, there was the spotlight I didn't want. I don't know. It was lovely to meet you all. But I don't know. I don't really have anything to say.
Totally not putting anybody on the spot. Not happening. So yeah, as we said, Thursdays, this Thursday even, over in Savage's channel. Come over there. We've got Canon Wars. It's going to be a very, very heated episode. I'm on the loss at the minute. It's been Team Minnow is 1 up. So Team Piggy needs to get its fucking ass into gear, and yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about that because it'll just make me annoyed. Bring back Scotty, free Scotty. So Pixie, on that, thank you very much for coming. Really enjoyed it tonight. It was great getting to know you.
Thank you for the invite.
And I hope to see you in more live chats and in more panels because, as I said, articulate, informative, very thoughtful. On that note, I will say, everybody, remember, think for yourselves, people. Thank you to the chat. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Oink and out. Bye.